In today's video, we are going to cover the unboxing and the setup of the Crane Plus. I want to walk you through this to show you how easy it is to get going pretty much right out of box. Hey everyone, Tanya here from Creative Nest. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I'm just gonna ask that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell so that you're notified whenever new content comes out about tutorials, gear reviews, what it's like to be a freelancer, and being your own boss. Let's get started. So for anyone who follows my work or has been on my channel before, you'll know that I do a lot of work with the Crane Plus, which is why I decided to go and buy a second as a backup. I'm in a position where if my gimbal goes down, I'm kind of out of work for a bit. I bought a second one and decided to save it for the unboxing. Here we go. Ta-da! Now I'm gonna walk you through this fairly simple assembly process. So as you can see, it comes in a really awesome Pelican case. You do have the option to buy it without a case. Don't buy it without a case. Definitely buy the recommended accessories. They're fairly well priced and they're offering them to you because it's gonna make your life so much easier. We are gonna start with assembling from the bottom. So when you look at this, you might be a bit confused. There's really only 3 pieces, so don't stress about it. You have the option to buy the base mount. Just buy it. If you don't have your base mount, you actually can't really put your gimbal down when it's on, and it's a nightmare, so just buy it. Screw your little base mount into the battery compartment. Make sure it's in nice and tight. Pop in your batteries. For time's sake, the Plus is gonna face up. And then this is the important piece. This is the actual gimbal piece. And then that is just gonna, oh, it's a mosquito. That's it, it's assembled. These are all the pieces you're gonna need minus this. They give you 2 of these. Buy more, because I've already lost one and I'm holding on to it like it's gold. Because if you lose it, guess what? You show up on site and you can't use your gimbal. So just buy a few extra of these if you can. Also comes with a grip. I haven't used it, but your hands get sweaty and gross, so put it on. I just didn't, but you should. I have 2. Another thing worth noting about these little screws that are really easy to lose and terrifying to lose, there are lots of little spots on the gimbal itself that you can screw them in. You've taken it off the camera, to attach it to the gimbal in some way so it's always there when you go back for it. Now we're just gonna balance it. I've used lots of gimbals. They are usually a nightmare to balance and usually that kind of deters people from doing it. This one's really simple. So most cameras, so the Canon 80D, so the Canon series, the Fuji series, they have movable screens, right? The Fuji kind of sucks because it actually sort of flips in the direction that is useless for gimbals. So if you're shooting on a Canon 80D or something of the like, you can flip it in a way that your screen flips out and you can view it. You can't really do it with this one. And the back of the gimbal kind of lines up against your camera monitor. You're gonna probably want to get an external monitor. I will cover my monitor setup in a separate video, but as you're putting this together, you might notice I can't really see my screen. There's a workaround. You're gonna start by just pop the camera on, make sure everything that when you're finalizing, it's really tight, because once you turn the gimbal on, if it slips around, it's gonna be off balance. So as you can see, this is horrendous and this is completely unusable. The goal is to get it in a position where it sits perfectly level without being turned on, which is gonna put a lot less stress on the motors. This gimbal is actually super forgiving, so I won't work when it's like this, but you could have it slightly off and the gimbal will compensate on a full set of batteries. So if you're just getting started and you're really struggling to get it perfect, don't stress about it too much. Just get it good enough. There are two settings we need to really focus on. The first is the side to side. I like starting with the side to side. So as you can tell, it's leaning really heavy to one side. We are going to unscrew this top one here, and we're gonna shift the main bracket around. I'm gonna shift it till it looks more or less level. Good enough. Tighten it. Now you're gonna work on the front piece. You can drop this too if your camera's a little heavier. On the front piece, there are a whole bunch of dials under here. You only really have to worry about this one, like the peg looking one. It's gonna let you push your camera back and forth. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's actually kind of already looking okay. Technically, I could turn my gimbal on and run for the next 10 hours and it would be totally fine. Aside from me rambling, this was actually a really, really quick setup. That's it, your gimbal is set up. Now we're going to turn it on this way. Hold down the picture of the camera for like 3 seconds. You're gonna get a blue light that pops on and it's gonna adjust. So you see how it kind of moved up a little bit? It's because I didn't have it perfectly balanced. If it was perfectly balanced, there should be a negligible amount of movement, but it's totally fine and it's gonna be fine. The only time you have to really worry about rebalancing is if you get a jitter. If you get a jitter, Molly, do you mind? Oh, she's walking away. I'm sorry. I know. So the only time you have to worry about a rebalance is if you're starting to see a jitter. You'll actually feel it in the base. Like you'll feel, Molly, come here. Come say hi to everyone. No, okay. we tried. Sometimes you don't necessarily see the jitter, but you'll feel it. You feel like a vibration in the handle. Put it down and reset it because you might open it up in post later and go, wow, that sucks, and you can't get rid of it. For most of what I do, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. You do have the option to program your gimbal with the app. I don't believe it's supported for Fuji just quite yet. When I bought it, it wasn't supporting Fuji, and so I kind of went about using it without the app, and so now I don't use it at all. I didn't have to do anything out of box. I didn't have to change the speed, the sensitivity. It was just good to go. There are different modes. As you select the modes, it kind of locks certain parameters. The second you turn it on, it's the most free-flowing mode. You can go side to side, you can go up and down, you can pan it up and down with the little dial. The other cool thing, I think, is if you triple tap one of the buttons, it like turns around to face you. Now that I'm trying to show you, of course. Oh, hey. So if you're a vlogger, this can be really handy. And then I think it should just go back. Yeah. I realized I didn't provide a full extensive overview of the actual capability of this because I didn't cover the app. I will include a link to a video that covers the app functionality. I think it's an awesome feature, but for what I do, I personally just haven't really had a need for it. I'm gonna walk you through what it looks like when I show up on site, pop my camera out of my bag from like inbox to ready to go. Screen out to compensate because I have my screen out most of the time anyway. And that's it. I'm good to go. Yay! Tighten everything. Now I'm good to go. Just an important note for when it's time to take it all apart. It probably is not going to fit back in the box without undoing the screws, which some people can find really annoying because you think you have to set it back up again. Just put it away safely. You don't have to think about it and reassemble it. You're gonna get so fast at it that undoing and doing the screws back up again is not even gonna be an issue. So this is my 7th year as a videographer. This is my 5th year as a freelancer. And I really sat on the fence about a gimbal for a long time. Reason being, when I got started, gimbals, the technology wasn't where it's at now. They're much larger because the cameras are much larger. They're much more expensive. They're kind of like an exclusive tool. Like if you had a gimbal, it was like, ooh, you were top of the line. Over the last couple of years, they've become affordable, smaller, accessible. A lot of places will even rent them to you for reasonable amounts of money. If you're shooting freelance and you're scared about getting a gimbal, just do it. Just get it. It's unbelievable, the increase in production quality. Your job becomes a lot easier because you're just grabbing better footage, and it's a lot of fun. That's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in. If you got absolutely anything out of this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If there's something you'd like to share with the audience, or I missed something, or you have a question, go ahead and leave a comment below. And lastly, please, please, please subscribe. Okay, so that's actually a wrap. Thanks for watching. Now go make something awesome. Bye. So I've saved this box to do an opening video for you, and that's what's happening. I started to ramble again. Fuck.
So hot when you do this.
Am I really?